What's up, Masters? Welcome to another episode of Path to Mastery. And today we're with Mr. Kyle Draper. What's up, Kyle?
What's up, bro? How are you, man?
I'm healthy, my friend. I'm
good.
I'm fighting, battling the invisible monster out there. That's what I'm doing. Thanks for spending some time with us today.
Yeah, man. My schedule's pretty free right now.
Yeah,
so.
I love it. I texted a few other. I'm trying to do a bunch of these. So I texted a few people. I haven't heard anything. You were quick, so you got on there, man. So I'm waiting to hear back from some other guys, like Grant Cardone's team. Some of those guys too. I want to get them on again. But listen, I appreciate you doing this. And before we jump into this whole thing on mindset, I just want to acknowledge our sponsors, Vulcan7.com, because they just support us. They've been supporting me for a while, and it's a perfect time if obviously most of us are working from home. So use their tools. Jump into Vulcan7.com. You have access to FSBOs, expired sellers. You get to use a CRM. Just call everybody. That's what we're doing right now. Calling people, reaching out, making connections. So check out Vulcan7.com/path to mastery for a special opportunity. You can try out their products for like $49. All right. Anyway, enough out of that stuff. And what's up, Kyle? How are you, man?
Dude, in spite of all the craziness, I am doing really good.
Okay.
In a weird way, because I work in a digital space, my life is crazier now than it was before all this, because everybody wants a Zoom training. Everybody needs to, know how to virtually do their listings. And so my life is nuts right now.
Interesting.
So, I probably taught 20 Zoom classes in the last 2 weeks. So,
wow. Good for you. Well, hey, that's good to hear. I know I've spent more time on Zoom in the last 3 weeks than I have in my entire life. And I just learned another thing, how to have the double screens up now when I'm doing it. So so thank you for that. And listen, this is all today about mindset. I mean, right now I just did this talk for Keller Williams, and it was all on perspective, pivoting perspective. Yeah. And I thought about mindset for a while. Like, what did I want to talk about? And for me, it was really about a mindset of abundance, because there's two types of mindsets. There's a mindset of scarcity. Yep. And then there's a mindset of abundance. And I think right now that's a powerful message for people. And I think people have to understand the difference, the distinctions. Yeah. Because it's very easy. Like you and I just talked about, we were supposed to do this at 5. I'm like, oh my gosh, the daily press conference. I've been watching the press conferences. Yeah. And we'll get into that in a minute. And I want to, and you said, I don't watch that stuff. My wife does. Right. Yeah. So I'd love to hear kind of your take on it, and I'll share mine. And I'm hoping our listeners will get a lot from that. But you heard my perspective. So what's your perspective, man?
On the press conference?
We'll get to the press conference. Yeah, that's a pretty general question. But yeah, I'm saying on right now, like with mindset, with everything happening, for you, this, hey, your business is up a little bit because you're getting all these Zoom trainings and things like that. But for most people, it's having the opposite effect, right? The majority of people right now.
So I was doing my hair, right? You text me and we're like, hey bro, let's do a podcast. And so I was doing my hair going, okay, let's think through some mental dialogue that I want to cover with David. And the thing that came to me while I was doing my hair was having a poor mindset, in my opinion, comes down to selfishness. And I don't even know that I'd even thought clearly through that. I still haven't thought clearly through that. So I'm talking it out loud right now. But I started thinking, right, when you come from a place of abundance, right, you're acknowledging that there's more than enough. And so I can keep my eyeballs focused on serving other people, right? You even let's talk about money. Right. I was watching a video the other day, and it was Grant Cardone or Gary Vee. It was one of those guys. Right. And they talked about how so few people get rich when their only desire is to be rich. Right. Rich people typically get rich because there was a desire for them to serve and meet a need. And through serving and meeting that need, in return came blessing, right? Which was financial. And so when you think about mindset, man, it's so selfish to have a poor mindset, because for me to get in a negative mind space, it requires me to go, I don't have enough. My family doesn't have enough. My, we, right? I. And I think that is the ultimate reason why people get into negative spaces. You know, I just this morning, I was watching a movie called Glory Road, right? It's a basketball movie about a team that this was back when racism was at its ultimate peak, right back in the 60s. And Don Haskins, the head coach, he recruits a bunch of black guys onto the team, which no one was doing. And so he was going into all their homes, and in a lot of these scenes, right, you've got these moms that are working and providing for these young men. And guess what? They could go, we're just not, like, it's just not going to work for us, right? Like, woe is me, right? I've just, man, people are out to get me, and I get the short end of the stick every time. And no, they said, forget that. My baby is going to live a greater life than I have. And so I will be committed to moving forward in spite of the cost, right? That's mindset. Sure. And it comes from an unselfish place, putting their children above their own needs, right? So I'd love to hear your thought about it, because I just started kind of thinking about it, an hour ago.
I like it. I never thought it from that perspective. I think I look at it more as when I did the talk, it was more of a place of fear. Yeah. Right. So, because there's fear, there's faith, meaning, hey, I know everything's going to be okay. And then the other side of that obviously is fear. And I think right now, there's a lot of people, and it's difficult, man. So this is a true, yesterday I woke up with a sore throat thing going. I couldn't help all day thinking about, well, geez, I may have the coronavirus now. And I'm watching this and I'm listening to the news and I'm thinking, oh my God, am I going to get worse? So as much as I focused on being positive and having positive all around me and listening to positive stuff and I still could not get that. It was still there. I swear to you, when it went away is when I meditated. When I meditated in the afternoon, I was finally able to, and it's not like it went away, Kyle. What happened was I made peace with it. I made peace with, if I do have it, then I'm going to go through it. Yeah. And I love my family, and my family's taken care of, and it's that's it. Right. That was how I got through that. And I don't, this is such, you and I just did this pop up. I didn't plan anything I was going to say, but yeah, I mean, I think to me that's it. So you can have fear. We can be focused on fear, and right now it's everywhere, and we'll talk in a minute about those daily press conferences. Or you can have faith, right? Or I love what you said about selfish. I never really thought of it from that perspective, though. Yeah, selfishness, and I think most people don't, right? But your perspective is absolutely true too. The whole fear monger mentality. Because I love what you said, right? You said the fear didn't go away. I just went away and meditated to allow, right, that peace that surpasses understanding to overcome the fear. Mm-hmm. Right. That's the beauty of really how we stay in that mindset. Is I think a lot of people do think they need it to go away when it's not going to. Right. And so, you've got to go and find something that's stronger. Let me ask you though, but does it, I guess to the point, and I don't know if I think it does go away. It's, does that make sense? I get sure. Because if you're thinking about fear, then it's there. If you're not thinking about it, then it's not there. Right. Well, that sounds almost too simple, I guess. I think that we're humans, right? Like we're not perfect. And
I fail daily. And so I really, honestly, I think fear always exists. It's just a matter of how much of the good can I pile on top of it. Right? That's kind of the way I look at it. Because to say, I just think, because I think there are entrepreneurs out there that are like, man, I don't fear anything. And I just think that's a bunch of crap. Right? Because we're human. And so to try to paint this picture that says like, you can conquer fear and never fear ever. Like, there's just no way. Like, let me go throw you in a pool with a bunch of great white sharks and see if you still feel that way. Like, there's just no way that's truly a thing, that we can come to a place in our lives where fear literally doesn't exist. I think what I've noticed is when I get away from the daily things that I do to overcome fear is when I notice fear being stronger.
Yeah. Well, and I'm goofing around here trying to start. I don't know how to. Is that thing going in the Facebook group right now? Like,
no, I think the live feed cut off.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, anyway, we'll do that another day, I guess. Because I guess I think what you're saying is the fear is always there. It's not always there, but I mean, it's there. Yeah. So even though I kind of finally at like 4:30 yesterday, kind of let the fear kind of controlling me
right
through the day, I kind of just said, you know what, I'm going to be fine regardless. Right. A friend of mine texted me and he's like, hey, you okay, man? I said, yeah, man, I'm okay. I'm going to be fine. Like, you know what I mean? Because I told the buddy earlier, I'm like, dude, I woke up with a sore throat. It's kind of weird. I told my wife, because I normally walk around like I'm like invincible superhero, Iron Man dude, you know, stay positive, always talk positive, you know, but yet I'm scared inside. It was just a kind of a weird experience for me.
But isn't there also healthy fear, right? So to say that fear is gone, right? There's also good fear. Right? Like I'm teaching my youngest, she's obsessed with animals, right? Every dog she sees, she wants to tackle because she wants to pet it. And I'm having to go, hey, baby, you can't, right? So I'm trying to instill a balance, right? Of not a fear of dogs, but a healthy fear of what the wrong dog could do to you. Which means we approach all dogs with a healthy respect, right? And so there are great opportunities for fear to be a good thing in our lives. But I love what you said, right? You said you let your fear control you. And where we need to be is in the opposite, right? Of we need to have our fear under control so that it's working in our positive and for us. And it's not working against us, right? It's not feeding us lies, convincing us that we're less than, right? So there's that weird balance, I think, that we've got to find.
Yeah, I think so. I guess my thought process on that is that, you know, like I say all the time now, we have to be smart, right? So this is a time where we really have to be smart. People have to be smarter. You have to use good common sense. So when I go out, like legit, I have gloves, I have a mask, and I've been doing this for, you know, what's funny, and everybody listening to this, I'm sure dozens of you were on an airplane with me in February where I was wearing a mask, and I was the only person on the plane wearing a mask, and people were making fun of me. You know, and frankly, and I still got sick anyway. I don't know how, but because I didn't wear the mask at the event. I wore the mask at the plane, but not the event.
Right.
But anyway, the bottom line was right now it's a time to be smart. Are we being fearful? I don't think so. I think, you know, if you're going to go out, you're going to wear a mask because you want to be smart. You're going to wear gloves. You know, I go grocery shopping. I try not to touch anything. When I get home, I put everything in like our little mudroom area. I wipe down all the boxes, all the vegetables, everything gets wiped down. My sneakers, I change sneakers when I come in the house. All those types of things are, I take my phone and I use the Clorox and clean my phone because I touched it. I clean the steering wheel of the car. Is that fear or is that just being smart?
Well, so let's play this out. Here's what I was thinking while you were talking. See, the reason it's not fear for you is that you've taken an action plan, right? You've put it into your life to allow the fear to go away or to subside, right? Because you're going, I'm wearing my mask, I'm wearing my gloves, I'm putting the stuff in the mudroom, I'm wiping it all down, I'm scrubbing my hands, I'm putting all my clothes directly into the washing machine. I even jump in the shower. So because of your plan, you've minimized the fear.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, think about public speaking. You and I do a lot of public speaking, right? The reason I'm not fearful of public speaking is because I know that I've taken the appropriate steps to allow me to be successful. Right? The more I do, that's the right decision, right? It minimizes the opportunity for fear to rise up and take over me.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's an interesting way to think about it, that the better we do in creating a plan, we give fear less room to just run rampant over our mind.
Yeah. Amen. Well, I know, listen, and I don't have the answer for this. I can only share how I handle it. And obviously you're going to share. I went through a lot of stuff when I was a kid. I had a tough upbringing. So I truly believe some of the challenging things I went through helped me
100%.
in a time I didn't think they did. But now I feel like maybe I'm a little more conditioned for stuff like, I don't know. But that's not even important.
Well, but that is important though, right? Because my story is the opposite of that. I was raised in a very privileged household, right? And so I never wanted for anything from about 5th grade on. My parents got really successful when I was in elementary school. And so I struggled for years as an adult because everything was always easy, right? Everything had always been handed to me. And then I met the real world and I started to fear everything, right? Because it wasn't as easy. So I've had to do a whole different angle of overcoming, not because I was made tough by my upbringing, but because I had to get tough as an adult if I wanted to amount to anything. So I think that obviously there's immense value in being super appreciative for the way we were brought up, but for different reasons, you know?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't tell you I'm appreciative of it. I would just tell you that I look for things that I can find that are just like in this situation we're dealing with now. This can be a tough situation if we don't look for positive things, right? So positive things is, you know, I feel like I've gotten a little bit more efficient with meetings. I'm able to do 3 podcasts a week now because I have the extra time. Honestly, I've spent a lot more time with my daughters doing Legos, spending time with my wife. I actually feel like my wife and I have gotten closer.
Me too.
So those are some benefits. And I have to do the same thing with my dysfunctional childhood. And I have to look for things that I can say, wow, you know what? Yeah. Although in the moment it was, as a kid, there was some tough things that happened, but because of that, now I'm a stronger individual today. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does. And let me tell you, so when I used to be a pastor, this is what I want to tell you, what I used to tell my students, right? Because I had students that came from horrific walks of life that I could never personally relate to, right? So I could not tell them, David, I understand how you feel, because that was a lie, right? I can't understand because I didn't experience it. And so I used to tell them, and I don't even know if this is truly scriptural, but it makes sense to me. You know, I would tell them, and I would tell you, I would say, David, I believe that God allows certain people to go through certain things that he knows will make it through so that they can turn around and help others who are either in those same circumstances or help others avoid some of those circumstances because you made it to the other side. And I just think, again, right, that's a mindset. That is because you think about how many millions of people who have had your upbringing, but they haven't reached your level of success because they've lived in the land of how would life have been different if, or woe is me, right? Why did I get that? Why aren't they? And people can't move past and go, did it suck? Yes. Do you wish that for anyone else? No. But there can be brighter days.
Sure. If
we choose to let that be the mindset that we move forward with.
And I think right now what we're seeing is it's sad, and a lot of people are being impacted by it, and it's there's a lot of sadness out there right now. There really is.
Yeah.
And I think that, and I'm grateful that I have, this is a hard, I have not been impacted directly yet by a family member or somebody really close to me that's been impacted by this, but I see it all over. And I just all I want to do is have empathy for people and pray for people. And just like you said, you can't, you can only imagine what I went through as a child, because you didn't go through that. So it's similar. But what I do want to do right now or be is kind to people and understanding and have empathy. But then the other side of that is I want to try to find positive in everything that's happening. This is going to end eventually. We'll all get through it one way or another. And I feel like we're going to be better for it. I feel like we're all going to be better. I feel people are going to be kinder, and well, at least that's my hope. I don't know. I can't say that. I can only speak for myself, but
I hope that as well. But here's the reality. People will get better and be better because of this if they choose to be. Right? That's the most important part of that statement. Is that's the reality, right? There will be millions of people that may never recover from this because they never choose to switch their mindset up, right? And really look at the positive and do some of the things required to make a change. And so I was on a town hall Zoom yesterday for a bunch of realtors in California. And a woman was on the panel with me named Jennifer Berman. She's a pretty big deal on the West Coast, and she lives in Hollywood. And she was talking about how she's literally on lockdown in her apartment. There's police officers on horses walking up and down Hollywood Boulevard, and she still pulls out her planner and shows where she journaled that morning everything she was grateful for.
Yeah, that's critical.
Right? That's the only way to make it through the craziness that is our world right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Because then we've still let's talk about the press briefings, right? We just, I think we cut the press briefing short to start our podcast. But I was telling you earlier, I don't watch those hardly ever. Because what benefit does that bring to my life, right? My wife watches it. So if something important happens, right, she's going to tell me about it. But what benefit does it bring to my mindset to see the death toll keep rising, right? To see the amount infected continue to grow, to see the new states that have done the stay-at-home policy. And so I try to be so protective of what I allow in, because I cannot remain others focused if I let all that negativity creep into my mind. That's for me, right? That's something that I do to protect myself.
Sure. I appreciate that, and I respect that, and I do. I'm not just somebody, there's people that are going to agree with you and say, "Oh, I understand what you're saying," but they really don't. I feel like that works. If for me, it's different, right? And I want to. I don't watch the whole thing. I like to see the new update. What's happening? Because I want to be informed. Again, I think maybe it goes down to my whole caution, be safe mindset, not fear, right? But I want to know. I want to know what's happening. I want to be intelligent. I want to be able to have intelligence. Sounds like you're having you can have an intelligent conversation too, and you don't even watch it just based on all the points you just made. So you certainly know what's happening.
Well, and
right?
like I'm on Twitter, right? So it's not like I literally am in the closet, but
well, let me finish. So here's the thing. I like to, I'm like a people watcher. I am fascinated by watching the press. So I watched them giving the updates, and then I bailed out, but sometimes I like to watch the Q&A session. Not that it's super productive, but I just like to watch the way that they ask questions, the way that the president responds to the questions, and just kind of make my own opinions and assessments just based on the dialogue. Like, I'm fascinated. I mean, I've done 150. This is 160 episodes. I'm fascinated by asking questions, by listening to people ask questions. So I think because the reason I'm bringing this up is because before we did this, we jumped on a phone and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't realize the thing was on. I'm going to watch it. Like, oh, I don't watch that. So then I'm watching it, thinking about that. Like, am I? Like, why am I watching this? And that's kind of when it clicked. Like, yeah, I want to be informed, but I don't need to watch that to be informed. I like to watch the interaction. I like to watch the back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated
Here's what's cool about
it.
you. You're an insatiable learner, right? You are constantly learning. You're constantly developing and improving. And so, like you said, you hit it on the head. We could even maybe argue that you're not even watching it as much for the information as you are for your fascination with body language and the way people ask questions and the way people respond, right? So you're getting so much deeper than just, this is a press briefing and I just want to know the details, right? So that's interesting.
I think
because
that's
I am not like that.
Yeah.
I'm not an insatiable learner like that. Like, I have to force myself to read books, to watch YouTube videos.
I don't even know what insatiable means, man. That's a pretty big word, man.
Just passionate, right? Insatiable,
okay,
right? Would be in the passion category. It's just a cooler word than passion.
Cool.
A passionate learner just doesn't
I'm
sound
insatiable.
Cool.
I love that, man. Going forward, I'm stealing that. Thank you.
But that's, and that's interesting, right? And I think that's important too, to give ourselves permission to be ourselves, right? It's not like one of us is better or worse because we do or don't watch. It's right. It's not. It's that everybody has their own way of doing things. For me, like in our house, my wife is the more political one of the two of us. And so she enjoys that stuff. And so I just let her, right, feed me, what's going on. And she picks and chooses what she thinks I need to know. And I stay in my lane, loving on people and pouring into people, right? That works for us and for me. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that has to work for everybody.
So with regards to the press conferences, I'm not saying don't watch it or don't watch it. It's up to you, right? Everybody listening to this right now, you're not wrong. We're not making you wrong if you do or don't watch it. That's completely up to you. But I think it's what we do after we watch it, right? It's what we 100%. Do with the information. It's how are we being? Are we watching it from a place of fear and oh my God, right? Or is it a place of probably most people aren't watching. Like I'm different, right? I'm a professional speaker. I host podcasts. Like I watch like talk show hosts because I want to learn. I want to, that's it's different, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So I guess maybe that's not even a good message.
No, I think it is. I think it's a great message, right? Man, anyone listening to this, please give yourself permission to be you, right? Don't listen to me.
Thank you, sir. That's why I had you on. I appreciate it.
Right, like that's the whole the message that we're trying to accomplish here, right? Is how many people will hear your opinion and go, oh no, well, I'm not like David. I must be broken. Or they hear my opinion. They're like, I'm not like Kyle. I must be broken. No, we're all broken. We've just got to figure out what works best for us, right? Take the alcoholic. most alcoholics that are in recovery, right? And they may have to change their route home, right? Because they can't pass the bar they used to spend 4 nights a weekend, right? It's not like every alcoholic needs to do that, but that one needs to, because they know what they're capable of, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I just know that when I consume a bunch of negative media, it messes with my mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I have to protect it. Now, what may be true is that you're just stronger in your mindset than me, right? That maybe you can consume it.
I wouldn't say that.
Right? So we have to know us.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm trying to eat healthy, I can't go drive-through and go, I'm going to make a good decision. No, I have to avoid the drive-through altogether. Otherwise, I will not find success in that drive-through lane.
Yeah, it's a great point, man.
Right?
It's a fantastic point. And here's the thing. Every night before I go to bed, I read for about 30 minutes. I read myself to sleep every night, and I've been reading a book by Dale Carnegie. I would recommend this to everybody. Unfortunately, I don't have it on Audible, or I'd tell you to get a free book with David's free book, but it's called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. By Dale Carnegie. It's most fantastic. I keep saying fantastic. It's an outstanding book. I've read it. This will be the 3rd time in my life that I've read it, and it's unbelievable. I was on a plane. I don't know. This must be 20 years ago. This was before I was in real estate, and I was reading that book, and the flight attendant came up to me and was like, "Dude, that book changed my life. That is the most powerful book I have ever read." And he's like, "Yeah, you just reminded me to pick it up again."
Give us what's the greatest nugget that you've pulled from now, this being your 3rd time through that book?
Oh man, great question. I don't have the greatest, so that's why I have to read it 3 times, because my memory's not as great as I want it to be, right? And it doesn't always stick. Yet some of the things that I've recently read were, they talk about day-tight compartments. When you look at a ship, everything's compartmentalized, or is that a word? So it's all compartments. So they shut compartments off. If you ever have a breach, then they'll shut off the rest of it so that the breach won't sink the whole ship. So we have to kind of do the same thing with our thinking when it comes to everything. So letting certain, like everything we're talking about today, right? Letting certain things into our life. Maybe it's watching too much TV. Maybe it's talking to the wrong people. It's all those types of things. So how do we cut ourselves off from things that are going to affect us? And the other thing it talks about is simply being grateful. Finding things to be grateful for. And there's a part in the book, and they kind of talk about the Lord's Prayer, where it says, "Give us today our daily bread." And the point they make is it's about focusing on today's bread, not yesterday's bread, right? Not tomorrow's bread, but today's bread. And to me, that's gratitude. So those are some of the things I've kind of stuck out in the last couple of days with regards to mindset. But the reason I bring that up, and then I'd love to get your take, but the reason I bring it up more than anything else, Kyle, is because that's, even though I may watch these news conferences and that's what I read before I go to bed. And I feel that's so important.
You're feeding your mind what is healthy, right? That doesn't mean like you're a super healthy eater, right? That doesn't mean that you can't eat something unhealthy, but you're never going to consume more unhealthy than you consume healthy, right? And so I think that's there's none of this all or nothing. Like that doesn't exist, right? Yeah. So I think we've just got to be intentional of what we let in, right? Practical things, just real quick, right? For people listening, who are your friends, right? Who are you sharing your dreams with? And then all they do is crap on them, and you keep them around. Right? And you wonder why you always underproduce, because the people around you are not celebrating you and picking you up and pushing you forward, right? They're holding you back, right? What are you consuming? The fact that you do that every night, right? That allows you to always wake up in the best opportunity to have a good mindset, because the last thing you consumed was the beautiful words of Dale Carnegie, right? Going into your mind and probably having an impact on what you dream about, right? So it's there's so many different things. I'll tell you a real quick story with what we allow in. So in 1983, I was a baby, and my dad tells this story that and you met my dad. We spent some time in San Francisco, the three of us.
We went out to dinner. Yeah, that was
and
nice.
He's one of the greatest men I've ever met in my life, and if not the greatest. And so in 1983, he tells this story that I was fussy. I wasn't sleeping. It was like middle of the night. And so he went to the living room. He's holding me, and he turned the TV on, and Rambo First Blood was on. And I mean, any guy that listens to this, right? Like, there's no way you haven't seen Rambo. If you haven't, please go watch it during this quarantine. It's an unbelievable dude movie, right?
I think they just came out with a new version, a second version of it too.
And it's incredible. And that one's incredible too.
Did you see it?
I've seen it 3 times.
Oh, okay.
And so my dad tells this story that he was watching Rambo, holding me, right? I'm so little, I don't know what's going on. But he said, right, you and I are both men of faith. And so he said, in that moment, he said that he felt this conviction from the Holy Spirit, and what he felt the Holy Spirit say to him was, never watch an R-rated movie again.
Yeah, my daughter just walked in. Sorry, you want to?
Hey, that's cool, bro.
Want to say hi?
We're on quarantine.
Say hi to Kyle,
right?
Yeah, jump up on.
Hey.
Because of the background, you probably can't even.
Oh,
see
there
her.
she is.
There
Hi.
She is. Say hello.
How are you?
Hello.
That's Samara.
Hi, Samara. I'm Kyle.
It's Kyle. All right. We'll talk.
It's nice to meet you.
Love you. Bye. All right. Cool, man.
So my dad, right? So he in the middle of the night, he gets this personal conviction, right? It's not, the Bible doesn't say you can't watch R-rated movies. He just felt this personal conviction. My parents have not seen an R-rated movie since 1983. And they're 2 of the most positive people I know. That's not a coincidence, because they do not allow junk into their mind, period, when it comes to entertainment. They don't do it. I mean, they wouldn't even watch The Passion of the Christ because it was rated R. And they just went, no, we're just not going to do it, because that was the conviction. And so I think most people, David, aren't willing to make the sacrifices necessary to truly have a positive mindset.
Well, I love what you said, and I love R movies. It's funny, I can hardly watch a movie unless it's R rated.
Yeah, I do too.
So I look at that as similar to everything we've talked about today. There's some balance, right? So I'm super healthy. I exercise a ton. So if I want to, so I'll probably have a bowl of ice cream tonight, which is rare for me, but I know I'm going to run tomorrow. So I'm going to balance it out, right? So I may watch the press conference, but yet I know I meditate. I do my reading. You know what I mean? So it helps me balance things out. So I guess in kind of wrapping this up, if there's anything I hope you take from this, I think putting some routines in place for yourself.
Absolutely. While
we're going through this, that's going to help you get through this. You know, whether it's, I don't know, mine is I pray every morning. I meditate. I read positive things. I talk to cool people like you. I do stuff to keep myself occupied. You know, I work, I do virtual meetings. I spend time we're going to do Legos later. All those things help. Those things help me in this situation, in these weird, challenging times, to try to stay more positive. You know what I mean? I don't think if I wasn't doing all those things, there's no way I'd be positive, man. I'd be out drinking probably. I've been sober 17 years, man, 17 and a half years. So, if it wasn't for all those gifts, and, we have virtual online meetings now, I do all those things on a daily basis, which help me tremendously with my mindset.
100%. No, I think that's huge. And I have very similar routines in my life. Praise and worship music is really big for me. On a normal day when I'm driving into the office, I'll just turn on some praise and worship music just to fill my mind and my mouth with uplifting words. right? And it's powerful for me. And so that's something simple that just works. But guys, this is, man, this is where the rubber meets the road, right? If people can't get a grip on the mindset that they carry with them every single day, I don't know how someone can be successful with a negative mindset. I just don't even know if it's possible. Like, I don't know any successful people that are negative. And I'm talking like truly successful people.
Yeah.
Right. I know people that make $100,000 a year.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But you're talking like high producing people, like people you've had on this show, Mel Robbins, Grant Cardone, Gary V, truly successful people, man, they're all optimistic, right? They're all positive in the way that they approach life, the way that they approach failure. And so when people they've got to fix this.
I'm glad you said that, but I think, if you listen to my Mel Robbins episode, she tells you that she actually has a lot of things, just like we just talked about, that help her stay positive. Like, she's got different routines and different things that she does. Yeah. Even a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That was what we talked about, was her the 5-second rule. Like, she says, I have to do that, otherwise a lot of times I won't take action.
Yeah.
So again, it's just these tools, if you want to call them that, or these routines, or what, and I think that to me is at least my message. I mean, what would you say? What do you want to kind of wrap this? Let's wrap this up, and I'm gonna let you do it. What do you want to say to everybody listening to this now in wrapping this up?
Man, I think my final words would be, you are only as strong as your foundation. And so it would be bad of us as both men of faith, right, to not tell people, right? We both believe in God, and that is where both of us created the baseline of who we are, right? Our existence. And so when the crap is hitting the fan, my faith allows me to go, God, you got this, right? Like, I don't need to be worried, right? Like, you already knew this was going to happen, right? Like that's supposed to be true, right? And that baseline allows me to have a great place where every day I start from. I'm scared for men and women that don't have a faith. I don't care if it's the same faith as mine, but people out there that don't believe in a higher power. I don't know how they make it through these times, because what that means to me is that you're putting all the pressure on you, and that's a terrible place to put the pressure, because we will fail every single time. So give some of that pressure away to what you choose to believe in, and I think that's the first step to improving your mindset.
All right, man. Amen. Well, I appreciate that, man. I love the higher power thing, because you're right. I mean, that's where I started, man. Did we wrap up? Kyle, how do people get in touch with you, man?
Man, if anybody wants to connect with me for any reason, I'm Coach Kyle Draper on all social media platforms. My website's kyledraper.com, and you'll get to me if you do one of those things. All
right, brother. Well, I appreciate your time, man. I'm grateful you did this with us, and
yeah, man.
I was just looking to put something positive out there. I know. I have all this backlog of interviews, but then I started going through them. I'm like, man, there's nothing I can really, it's just not relevant for right now. You know what I mean? It's strange, man. It's some strange times, brother.
Yeah, bro.
Well, listen, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
All right, cool. Masters, hey, before you jump on to what's next, I just want to thank you for checking out the show. And if you like what you heard, please give me a review on iTunes. It helps tremendously. It helps us get guests, and I just so appreciate it. And if you want, send me an email, and I will read your review right here on the podcast. Email me, david@davidihill.com. Again, I want to thank you. Check out our sponsors. I appreciate our sponsors. Without them, we can't do this. Vulcan7.com. for your expired physicals, all that stuff. CRM, Vulcan7.com/path to mastery. Again, David's free book. Get yourself a free audiobook. And health and nutrition, is number one to me. So check out Advocare products, which are tremendous products. As a matter of fact, Patrick Mahomes uses the products. So go to livelongersmarter.com. Again, livelongersmarter.com to check out health and nutrition products. My friends, again, I appreciate you listening to the show. You rock.